All right, welcome everybody. This is lesson 4 um, for criminal law. So thanks everybody for being here. As you can see in the chat there, I do have the Nearpod link. So if you wouldn't mind getting on that, I'm going to start sharing my screen and we will get started. All righty. So just remember that this lesson is being recorded for learning purposes. And expectations are make sure you follow along with the Nearpod lesson, use the chat tools respectfully and appropriately, respond to questions and instructions the first time. Okay, today's lesson that we're going to go over is inside the courts, how it all works, what it's like in there. Before we do get into here, I'm just going to run through the class real quick. Remember, recordings I post on the class announcement right here, so they're easily available to you. If we go into plan, this shows what's going on. Today's the 21st. The exit ticket / assignment will be due Wednesday, the 27th. So make sure you put that in there. We'll have another live class, and then we'll have the last thing due on the 4th. For those of you that are seniors, the last day that you need to get everything in by is the 18th, and the 25th is the last day for everyone else. And then we're all looking forward to summer break, right? Okay, content. So we're going to go into the content right here. We're going to be lesson 4 inside, or unit 4 inside the courts. We have the Nearpod link right here and our quiz. And so we will be going over some of those questions in the class. So as we kind of come into here, you can even look at it and maybe even follow along if you'd like to on what some of these things are. Okay. All right, here we go. So the lesson objective today is given a quiz in the OLS, students will accurately answer multiple choice questions about the U.S. court system with 80% accuracy across one trial. Okay, just going to read this so we can kind of look at it. You're unable to join the Nearpod. It should just let you write in to join the Nearpod. Let me just put the link in one more time into the chat, and you can try it one more time. Okay. Laws govern our behaviors, but we do not always follow them, as we've already discussed in previous lessons. There's ones that we don't follow or not basically enforced. We may drive over the speed limit, take something that isn't ours, or do damage to someone else's property. When we do not follow the law in society, we are committing a crime. We may then come to the attention of the criminal justice system. Sometimes we get in disputes with other individuals that don't involve criminal activity, which we talked about this a little bit between the difference between civil law and criminal law. These disputes can be resolved through the civil court system. In this unit, you will learn the steps within each system that is important for people to be involved and how cases are then resolved. So let's do an example real quick. So we're going to say he can think this is you maybe. Chris 19 and Jamie 18 are at a mall on a busy Saturday afternoon. Jamie buys 2 CDs, 3 shirts, and a new video game. Chris, too, finds several interesting purchases. By the time they entered the final store, they both were nearly out of money. Jamie sees some awesome pair of jeans on sale, but with the money they have left, plus what Chris has, she's still $40 short. She really wants those jeans, and because they are on sale, they are the last of her size. Okay, Chris suggests that you try on the jeans, remove the tag, and stuff the shorts she's currently wearing in her purse. He tells them to just walk out the store. If Jamie does this, she is committing theft. All right, what do you think happens? Put it in the chat real quick. What do you think is going to happen? She does it? Okay. Security tag still on. The alarm goes off. All right. Do you have experience in that? No, just kidding. I had a buddy in high school that got caught for shoplifting. They were stealing paintball guns. And yeah, I think like everyone has experience a security tag still being on. Yeah. Hopefully you made the purchase before, right? And you just show the receipt. Actually, yes, because they forgot to take them off. Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping it wasn't that you got in this predicament here. Okay, let's move on to see what happens. Okay, Jamie takes the jeans, but as she and Chris are about to leave the store, the mall security stops them at the door. What happens to them now? Okay, because they are both over age of 18, they are adults. They will be sent through the criminal court system and put through a criminal trial. They are found guilty and are sentenced to 6 months in jail. But after their sentencing, Chris and Jamie both received notice that the store is suing them for their actions. The store claims that the cost and the time necessary for them to appear in court took them away from their business, and that Chris and Jamie should pay them for their lost hours. Chris and Jamie must now go through the process of a civil trial as well. Okay. Not good, right? Let's just purchase things and not try to steal them. So my buddy that was that stole the paintball gun, he was underage, under the age of 18. So he got off a little bit, but he still had to go through like kind of a some type of mediation thing where they did fines and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm asking you now, what do you currently know about the court system, if anything? So some of you put, 0 to nothing, not much. Okay, pretty much nothing. That's probably good. That means that you probably have never been in the court system, right? I understand the basic concept of how a charge is made against someone and the preceding court process. Oh, perfect. That's great. Anything else that you might possibly know or ran into? Okay. Well, let's learn some more. Okay, we're going to watch this video that briefly describes some of the stuff.
The seed of the sprawling federal court system is found in Article 3 of the Constitution. It says this: the judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court, and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. In other words, it was up to Congress to just fill in the details. The first effort was the Judiciary Act of 1789. It established an early version of the three-tiered system we still have today. The structure was worked, it was then reworked over the years. Circuits, or geographic areas, were added, combined, morphed, reorganized, sometimes for political reasons, like limiting Southern influence during and after the Civil War, sometimes just for plain old practical reasons to manage an increasing case workload. Two notable developments here. In 1869, Congress set the number of seats on the Supreme Court at 9, which still holds. And in 1912, Congress established the federal court structure we have today. The three main levels: district courts, that's a trial court; circuit courts, which are the first level of appeals; and then the Supreme Court of the United States. That's the final level of appeal. Last word. There are 94 district courts, 13 circuit courts, and of course, one Supreme Court. By the way, all their members have lifetime appointments. So let's jump back into the weeds for a second here, work our way up this tier. District courts are the trial courts for civil and criminal cases. Each has at least one district judge, appointed by the president, then confirmed by the Senate. There are over 670 district court judges. Then the circuit courts of appeal. A federal district court's decision can be appealed to a circuit court of appeals. There are 12 federal circuits that divide the country into different regions, plus the Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit, which has jurisdiction over national issues, things like trade and patents. Now, the Supreme Court. It has the power to decide appeals on all cases brought in federal court or in state court if they deal with federal law. They choose about 80 cases a year out of the 7,000 to 8,000 petitions they get. Members of the Supreme Court are referred to as justices, not judges. Interesting detail also, the Constitution does not specify qualifications for being a Supreme Court justice. They can be any age, have any education, profession, native-born citizenship. A justice doesn't even have to be a lawyer. They don't have to graduate law school. But historically, all have been trained in the law. On top of deciding cases, justices also oversee one or more of these circuits. They can be asked to set bond for a defendant there, stop deportations from the circuit, or screen applications for stays of execution. There's a lot happening. It is a giant federal court system with thousands of cases, hundreds of judges, all resting on one short article in the Constitution.
All right. So that was a little bit of information, or a lot of it information. But it's kind of helpful to kind of see where things are. So you have the U.S. federal court system, okay? As they talked about, Article 3 of the Constitution outlines the federal court system. The federal court system has 3 tiers, okay? We have the district courts, okay? These are the ones that you go into where you do the initial court system, right? So if somebody becomes on trial, they're always in some type of district court, okay? And then you have the U.S. Court of Appeals. So if a decision is made in one of these courts, it can then be appealed with due process to one of these other ones. Now, sometimes these cases go all the way, and basically the Supreme Court cherry picks these ones that they believe are of big national importance, and then they make decisions on them, okay? So for example, like the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare, that was something that was put in the court. It went through appeal, and then it's finally taken up by the Supreme Court, and they make the decision and it all has to do with the Constitution, right? If something is constitutional or not. Okay, the district court in the United States, the first tier of court within the federal system is the 94 district courts. There are trial courts of the federal system, and they hear both civil and criminal cases. For example, a case of treason would be held in a federal district court because treason is a crime against the whole country, okay? So we have state courts as well. So this is federal level, and we have state as well. So hopefully it's not too confusing. Federal district courts also have units within them as bankruptcy courts. Bankruptcy courts handle the cases of bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is a civil matter that defers the process of being declared financially insolvent or not able to pay your debts. Okay, the U.S. Appeals Court, the circuit courts. The second tier in the federal system consists solely of the U.S. Court of Appeals. The 94 district courts are divided into 12 regions or circuits. Each circuit hears appeals from the district court located within its area. All areas of the country belong to a circuit. So our treason case might have to go to the U.S. Court of Appeals if the original verdict against the person or persons accused of the crime called the defendants can show that something in the original trial was unfair to them. In this case, the verdict may be overturned. Okay, so for example, like I was listening to this one podcast on this guy that killed somebody, but he's guilty as sin. Let's be honest. But what he did is, he didn't want to go to. He was online for life in prison or the death penalty, and he didn't want either of those. Right? He wanted to get out someday, And so he found every little thing. That the biggest thing that was holding back is they've never found the body. But he's able to appeal that over and over and over again. And he's just waiting for different appeals to see where it leads, right? And this is a process they kind of use, right, to kind of get out of having to not do the death penalty, right? Or have the opportunity to possibly get out. Okay, the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the highest court in the country, and it has the final say in all legal matters. The court consists of the Chief Justice and 8 associate justices. The Supreme Court has jurisdiction over any case, be it federal or state. So the Supreme Court has also had the privilege of choosing the cases they hear. Each year, the Supreme Court hears about 70 cases and decides on another 50 without going through a trial. But they receive 7,000 requests every year. Because there is such a high demand for their time, they usually only hear cases that are socially important or that relate to the Constitution in some way. Okay, so here are some questions that you possibly might get on your quiz. Okay, which of the following is a federal court? Okay, be district or claims. Okay, hopefully you guys get these. Oh no, I'm sorry, I always do that. Okay, district. Okay, at which level do civil cases operate? Are civil cases state nor federal level or both? Okay, hopefully you're picking right. Can a criminal face charges at both the state and federal level for a single crime? Okay, remember double jeopardy that we talked about before? Can't be traded to the same crime twice. Trial courts hear criminal cases. Circuit courts hear civil cases. Is that true or false? If we put false because we got the... Okay, there are nearly 100 district courts, a dozen circuit courts, and 1 Supreme Court. Is that true? Yeah, nearly 100, dozen circuit courts. Okay. I won't let me submit. I guess it won't let me submit. Okay, just so you guys know, that's what it is. Okay, let's go over the state court system real quick. Okay, the second classification of courts within the U.S. involves the state court system. So this would be like the state of Utah. So each state has their own court system. Each state court system may be arranged differently as outlined by the individual state constitution. Each U.S. state has its own constitution or governing document that functions much as the U.S. Constitution does for the entire nation. So the court system in each state varies slightly from another state court system in the United States. Okay, so state court systems, they usually have towns, cities, and county courts. Okay, the first tier of the court system includes small claims and probate courts. Small claim courts usually handle matters involving disputes over very low sums of money, like stolen purses, while probate courts determine the validity of wills and estates. The remaining 3 tiers of the state court system, circuit courts, appellate courts, and state Supreme Court. So the state has a Supreme Court too. Functions much like the 3 tiers of the federal court system. Above the local courts are state circuit courts, followed by the Court of Appeals, and finally the state Supreme Court. Okay, so let's kind of go over these things. What is found in an absolute every kind of court? Okay, would it be a judge or jury? You guys can put this in the chat. Judge, very good. Juries are not always found in courts, only certain courts. Oh, dang it. I always do that. Okay, so judge. Next. What is the difference between a civil case and a criminal case? Okay. Whether the punishment is a fine or jail time, or whether someone is charged with a crime. Okay, a civil court could still fine them, right? But whether somebody's charged with a crime, because civil does not have to do with the law, right? That's just a dispute between two people. Which of the following is an example of a state court? Small claims or bankruptcy? What do you guys think? Small claims, good. Small claims. Bankruptcy is, remember, at the federal level. That's at the federal level. Okay. Marjorie sued an FBI agent for violating her rights with an unconstitutional search and seizure, suing the agency for $1 million. That'd be nice, right? She lost the initial civil suit against an FBI agent, but believed the ruling to be flawed and wanted to continue fighting the ruling. What court should she turn to next? You guys think? Appeals court or that? Appeals. Good. Right? You didn't win and you want to appeal it. Okay, last question here. Civil cases may be held at the federal level if the two parties are from different states and disputing the amount is above a certain level. True or false? What do you think? True, because it goes past state borders. Okay. All righty. Good job, guys. Okay, let's watch this video real quick and find out a little bit more.
The mission of the federal judiciary is to serve as the guardians of the Constitution and to uphold the rule of law.
The federal judiciary protects people regardless of who they are and how much money they have.
The function we play is so important in making sure that justice is done.
We're defending people's rights and protecting the Constitution.
You have people's lives in your hands.
There's no question that people who work in the federal court make a difference.
My staff is absolutely critical to the work I do. All rise, please.
You do not need a legal background to work in the federal courts. The positions that need to be filled are wide and varied.
I am a court reporter.
Director of Information Technology.
United States Probation Officer.
I'm an Assistant Federal Public Defender.
Help Desk Technician.
Courtroom Deputy Clerk.
Civil Case Administrator.
Budget Manager.
There's room for everyone.
The best part about it, though, is that you're not tied into one career track. You can always shift and go to another.
It's the greatest job in the world.
I can grow. I can affect change.
I think the courts will give you the opportunity to try to test your talents and expand on your skills.
I feel empowered. I feel important. Every time I walk into the courthouse, I feel like my day is meaningful.
I love working for the court. I do.
This is a great job and a great place to work for someone who's interested in going to different parts of the country.
From Dallas
to Boise,
Knoxville,
San Francisco,
Chicago,
Tallahassee, New York,
and Washington, D.C.
It's really nice because you're not limited to just your location in your particular court.
You have the inside track, essentially, to promotion opportunities, to advancement.
You can come in as a docket clerk and work your way all the way up to being a manager.
What do you think about that?
This organization provides you with the tools that you need to succeed.
The court is very dedicated to continuing education.
They've really been great in terms of mentoring me and training me.
I find myself learning constantly new things, new skill sets.
One thing that I love about my job is the flexibility. It gives me the opportunity to balance work and family.
The focus at the courthouse is to get the work done, to do it right, but to also have a life outside of just the work.
Equal justice for all is the bedrock of the American judicial system, and that's what we're all about.
All right, so this will lead us into our next lesson, which will be about careers in law. So if you do have any questions, please let me know. Here's my contact information. Once again, this week, what we're going to do, this is the exit ticket / assignment lesson 4 quiz. Make sure you get in there. There's 10 questions there. And we kind of went over quite a few of them, okay, today. So please let me know if you have any questions. I'll stop the recording now, but I'll stay after and answer any questions you might have. Thanks. Have a great day.